real big, real big, real big. I know what my real is feel is.
Welcome to another episode of the CourtSide TakeOver podcast. We are back with another show. It was great last week. The Devin Williams interview was great. We learned a little bit about Bob Huggins, the conversations he had with Kyrie. So if you didn't get a chance to go check that out, please go check it out. The Devin Williams interview was really, really good. Also, CourtSide TakeOver Skills Camp, June 17th through the 19th. If you didn't sign up, please go sign up now. Location is at Hughes High School. So please go get the registration form out. Go on my Instagram. Also, another episode, another week. We do not want this to go unheard or unnoticed. I keep on beating the drum. I've been talking about this for a long, long time. But it's been 95 days since Brittany Griner's been incarcerated. And I think that is not getting a lot of publicity. Last week we talked about it. We talked about it prior to that. If this was another NBA player, it would be getting all type of headlines and highlights. So I really want to highlight this every time I get a chance to talk about it. So it's been 95 days since Brittany Griner been incarcerated. So I really want to keep on highlighting that. So without further ado, we have a special guest here today. Well, I would read out her accolades, but I think I would need about 3 bottles of water. So we got Coach Gayler here. I think you all would love this story. I think you all would love to meet her. So how you doing, Coach Gayler?
I'm doing great. Got to Cincinnati yesterday and glad to be here.
How's the summer been going for you? And just the whole, the coach of BRESCIA now, right? BRESCIA?
Yeah.
How do I pronounce it?
Yeah.
BRESCIA?
Everybody asks. So actually BRESCIA made a shirt and it has probably 7 different ways you can say the word BRESCIA and they spell it out all these. I think it's hilarious. I don't know. But yeah, it's BRESCIA. So was hired last September and it's been going great. I'm actually the men's head coach and athletic director.
So you made history. How did that feel, being the fact that you kind of beat the odds?
The funny thing about it is I didn't even know. So I got hired and didn't get hired to go to the caf. I was hired and then the next day I was in the cafeteria, I was eating and I was walking out and the dean came up to me, he goes, "You know you made history." I was like, what do you, in what? And he was like, "You're the first female head coach to coach in the NAIA men's basketball." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "All right." So, it's a weird feeling because one, it's a big honor. It's really awesome to be able to have that and to advocate and maybe even open a door. But on the back end of that, I always say this, I've been coaching for about, I don't even know anymore, 13, 14 years. Mm-hmm. And 12 of those years have been men. Yeah. And so for
14
me,
years, yeah.
It's if I'm the first, I was the first a long time ago, but maybe I'm the first in just this avenue, in the college. So to me, they're like, "How does it feel?" And they always ask me questions about the guys and different things. I'm like, well, it feels kind of like it did 13 years ago. So.
How was life growing up in Oklahoma?
I love my countryside. I'm a big country girl. My mom actually got me one of those little stickers that you put on the back of your car. It just says country girl. So yeah, my roots are actually rodeoing. I grew up barrel racing. My mom barrel raced. My mom is very out there. She bull rode. She rode bulls. My dad roped. My uncles roped. Rode broncs. Just all that. So grew up rolling around in the dirt. And just all that, there's different things. There's called play days and different things you go to, and there's different events you can do. It's just a lot of fun. And we would go probably 3 to 4 times a week, just taking the horses and just hauling and going out and just riding. We go to trail rides. But yeah, I grew up in the sticks. It's great. I love it actually.
An old country girl like you, how did you find the love for basketball?
It found me, actually. So when I was 7th grade, probably, or 6th grade, I don't know, somewhere in there. I hadn't done sports yet, and so unless you got rodeo as sport, definitely sport. But really, yeah. Sport. So my friends would play basketball on the playground, and the guys would play the football up top, and it just got to the point where I was like, I think I could do that. Yeah, I think I could throw a ball in a hoop. Yeah. And so as that thought came into my mind, the next year comes around And it's really weird. Like, I just had this urge to, like, run all over the place. And I was like, well, I can run and put a ball in. Okay, let's play. And so 7th grade, I was like, let's try this. And really, it just went from there. And the fact that everybody I met said, do you play basketball? Because I was taller than everybody. I'm 6'1", so a little taller.
Now, that experience you had, just figuring out that you had a love for the game. Now, did you take, because just for reading your history, just for reading about you, learning your story, you're very dedicated and determined. Was that your goal, figuring out, okay, I love this, now I want to succeed at it?
So I think it's just in my blood. I'm very competitive, and I just want to be the best at everything. I'm a perfectionist. The back of my head, now that I'm older, like, I know I'm not going to be perfect at everything,
right.
but like I strive to be perfect and the best at everything. So I, even when I was doing the rodeo stuff, I was like, I'm going to go to the NFR. Well, the NFR is the National Finals Rodeo, which is like the Olympics of, rodeoing.
Gotcha.
So when I kind of like switched over, it was kind of the same thing. Like, okay, I want to be the best. And so, and I definitely was not starting off because I wasn't an athlete. Like, I wasn't running around. I mean, I was kind of like running around, but I wasn't like doing anything like, on a field or,
right.
and when you're younger, if you do that, you build up that muscle. So like, man, my shot was probably like a, football pass to the But, yeah, no, as I kept playing and kept like getting that love for the game, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make it. And so I just started putting all that extra work in.
So the high school career you had, leaving high school, you end up at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Now, what was the experience like? Was Arkansas your only offer? Because after Arkansas, you finally went to go to UNO, as I call it, so University of New Orleans. So was that your first option? Like, okay, I'm going to take this route, then I'll transfer to a Division I school.
So I did have some offers coming out of school. And honestly, I was so naive because I didn't know, like, what a D1 was. I mean, I did know what a D1 was, but it didn't click as it's a D1, you're big time. It was like, oh, that's a D1 school, that's big,
Right.
So whenever like these schools would come to me, I started talking to them and then like just started building a relationship with them. The day before I signed, actually, Oklahoma State hit up my coach and they were like, hey, we want you to come visit. And I was like, nah, I've already been talking to this coach. I'll be fine. And looking back now, if I was that coach, I would have like been like, no, you're gonna go on a visit, But yeah, no, I went to Arkansas, best school in the world. I love that school. And from there, transferred and went to New Orleans.
Do you think that if you would have chose the Oklahoma State path, do you think the trajectory would have been different?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't really go back and think about it. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't actually know what that interest was. It was an interest in like scholarship, full scholarship, walk on, what it was. And so just because they didn't completely pursue me, but they asked my coach, hey, we wanted to come visit, but I think it's just kind of like one of those things. I didn't choose that way, so I went a different way.
Definitely. So. Graduation, leaving New Orleans. So, just curious, when you left school, what was the roadblock from you going straight overseas?
Me?
What happened?
I was okay. So my mom did real estate for a long time, right? And she was always dealing with she always had these contracts in her room, to buy a house and different things. And she would always be like, read the fine print now. So she kind of helped guide me through it, but it kind of made me nervous. And so when I got a contract, I was reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, what if I do this? What if I don't know. I was so nervous on getting in a bad contract or signing it wrong or anything like that. I didn't do it quick enough. And so once it kind of went away, I was like, oh, I lost it. But I went and played semi-pro in Dallas. And then I'm trying to think of what else I did. I'm so old. And then I found this little tour team and we went over to Hungary and we played, came back, played. I actually ended up injuring my back when I came back, somewhere in there when I was playing. And so that's just kind of what really slowed me down and put me into coaching. Although I was coaching essentially when I first started semi-pro, but I really like got into it after I came back and ended up hurting myself.
All the experiences and the challenges women face in the men's game, which I think is kind of unfair because I always think of that. I'm a big advocate for women's sports because I don't think it's fair that you let women raise kids, but you let women raise men, but won't let them coach them. So it's kind of weird to me. It don't make sense. So it's kind of a personal question. All the obstacles women face in the game, what keeps you motivated? Like, why haven't you just said, I'm done with this, I'm gonna just go coach ladies? Like, what keeps you motivated?
Just the passion for the game. You're talking about like coaching the women's side or playing or
no? What keeps you motivated to still try to coach men and get to the top tier of that level? Because like a coach like Becky Hammond, she should have been on.
Yeah, right.
But there's a lot of politics in the game. So what keeps you still motivated? Like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a coach. I want to coach men. And I want to coach at a high level.
I think it goes back to just my personality, and wanting to be the best in like whatever I decide to do. I preach to my guys, I'm like, we are not a team of mediocrity. I don't care what you're doing, like, you're gonna go and you're gonna be the best at it. Mm-hmm. So, and it's funny, and coming into the team last year is in September, is like literally like right before the season starts, right? Mm-hmm. I was trying to like, see what their aspirations were. And they're like, yeah, a winning season would be great. I'm like, no. We're not, we don't need a winning season. Like, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a national championship. Yes. Like, that's where your eyes should be set. Like, winning will take care of itself if you train hard enough to be up here. So, I think it's just what it is. Like, I don't know. I think of it differently than other people. It's not like I'm a woman and I want to go and try and pave this way and make a road. No, I like coaching men. Let's go see how I can go.
I like that. But where do you get that passion from? Because this is like your third time saying it's in you. Where do you get that work ethic and that passion from?
Probably my mom. My mom. Yeah, no, she's my mother's a little spitfire. I told you she rode bulls, right?
Yes.
So my mom is awesome. Funny story. I actually was super shy as a little kid. Like, probably scale 1 to 10, I was like 15. I wouldn't talk. I wouldn't talk to my own family. I would like go into stores and like hide. And my mom told me, she was like, I was determined to make you like not a quiet person. And she's like, I did overkill. I know I did. But no, I think my mom is kind of the same way. Like, when she does something, like, she does it all the way. She's always taught me, when you borrow something, you leave it better than what you got it. Like, when you do something, you do better. You never, again, go through life just being average. Right. So even if you want a quote unquote average job, I don't even know what that means. Like, fine, you can be anything you want to be, but go do it.
I agree. Something else. How did you get into training? Where did that come from?
Which one?
The first, after you left the semi-pro teams, you traveled a little bit, I seen. Mm-hmm. Now after that, you went into training. Like, where did that come from? Like, okay,
like strength conditioning.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So it's funny because, like, here, I'll take you back. I'll kind of give you a story that kind of leads to this a little bit. Okay. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I met this guy. I was at a park. I was walking with my mom. And I don't know, I think he was like an older guy, but he was just like gonna give me advice, I don't know. And so he walks up to me and he was like, do you wanna be the best? And I was like, well, yeah. And he was like, well, then you gotta watch the best, you gotta train with the best, you know how they go down and they just tell you all this advice. And I'm like, okay. Well, my mind automatically went to the NBA. I'm like, they're the best, wow. You know? And so I think that's really where a lot of like the men's side of the game stemmed from, because I was like studying the men's game. I was watching the NBA. My sophomore year, I woke up every morning at like 5 o'clock, because at the YMCA 5:15 they would start playing. So I would literally roll out of bed, like just mosey to my car, get in, drive to the YMCA and go play. So every day before school, I would go play at the gym, go to school, and then go to practice after. And then go home, and a lot of times I go back to the Y, because usually the older guys would play in the morning, the younger guys would play in the evening. And at that point in time, it was usually, there wasn't really girls basketball going on either. It was just the guys playing. And so all that through high school, and that's kind of I don't know, I guess where it stemmed from. And so when 2010, whenever I got the job with the Legends, working with them, I told them, I was like, you know, I'm a basketball coach, I want to coach. Well, obviously, especially then, you know, they didn't have that. And so they were like, well, we can put you on the floor, you'll get every practice, you'll sit on the bench behind the coaches at the games and you can learn. And I was like, okay, so they put me with that athletic trainer to like help stretch, and I learned to tape ankles and all these different things. And also in my mind when that was happening, I was like, well, what if they don't let me coach? I was like, I could do strength and conditioning too. So I was like, maybe that'll be another avenue. But also, I believe in like being a complete athlete. So, you know, the athletic training was there for me to learn the injury prevention. When I was an athlete, I always made sure I was the strongest person on the team. Again, that, you know, overachiever mentality, right? So with all the work I put in the weight room before, I was like, I'm gonna go get a strength and conditioning job. So I went to, I think it's EOS now, but it used to be Athletes Performance. And so they had an internship and it was literally right next to the Legends. And so I just walked in there and was like, hey, can I work here? So, and that what was really cool with that too is that was the same year that the NFL lockout was. So when I was interning, I actually got to help train the NFL players. So it was really cool.
That's cool.
So
what do you think the biggest difference is, being that you worked with pros and you worked with guys in the, well, now the G League, back when you was in there, it was the D League.
Yeah.
So what do you think the biggest in were guys really professional athletes to versus guys that's in the G League? What do you think the biggest difference is that you noticed?
From like the G League and NBA? Probably basketball IQ. And I think it also has to do with being in the right place at the right time as well. So because COVID hit, they had a lot of protocols on those NBA players, so they were able to pull up a lot of those G League players who got that experience. But I think it's a lot with the basketball IQ, like your body being in shape, being able to take those hits. If you're a really good shooter, can you guard somebody? You know, being a two-way player, as in like you can play offense and you can play defense. Your specialty, what's your specialty? Does that team need that? So you might be an NBA player in the G League and good enough to play here, but they already have your Reggie Millers, your Ray Allen. Okay, I went like back to old school, right? Your Steph Currys, your shooters over here. So I think it has a lot to do with just timing. It has a lot to do with basketball IQ, reading the defense, reading the offense, making the right decisions at the right time. And then just a little bit of luck in there too.
Definitely. I agree. I think a lot of stuff is a little bit of luck. And I think that's, it comes with the game though. It comes with the sport. Now, what advice would you give just a kid or a child watching this that want to come play for you? If they say, I want to come to BRESCIA, what kind of coaches they getting and what kind of system is they walking into?
So right now I'm looking for some dogs, just toughness. And there's a saying, oh gosh, I'm going to mess it all up. It's, talent, no wait. Hard work outworks talent when talent doesn't work hard, is that it?
Outwork beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
There you
Something
go.
like that. They know it. Something like that. So, all right.
Yeah, it's right, it's a motto.
Something like that, right. Hey, Quay. So, after just...
Oh, hey, Quay, what's up, man?
I know you for a while, just being around you for a while. I know you love the heck out of the game. Yeah. You was a great player yourself. What has just being around her taught you, just from just being in her presence? Like, what has that taught you in this short amount of time?
Be careful.
Just knowing Coach, just knowing Coach as a person, and like her coaching at like a high level, and like her being around them people, like from where I'm from, like most people like that, like cocky and like stuck up, kinda. Like Coach is like real down to earth, like she's real cool. Like I say, it's like a homeboy. It's like family. You feel me? I said her just being like real caring. Like I said, she's real quiet. Like she don't go around and like tell people I did this, I did that. So like just being around somebody that's like coached at like a high level is like just being around like a whole bunch of pro athletes. Like she's very like down to earth. So like, it just opened up my eyes. Like I said, like, all people aren't, like, cocky or, like think down on you feel me? Because I said, I said, I was coaching high school, you feel me? So I said, I haven't made it to that level. Like, I said, I just been around her just taught me, like, there's people out there who's just, like, who's made it, but then, like, still care about others, you feel me? Like, still don't think down about others. I said, everybody's still the same. I just like her just because I said, she's just real down to earth. And I said, it's like a family vibe just being around her, so.
Just like you said, you was coaching high school prior. What made you look at her and say, she's cool? This not a bad person. Like, how has she, matter of fact, let me reword that. Like I said, it's a relate show, not a debate show. A lot of y'all can relate to me. I just changed the whole question in the middle of the time. So, let me just change the whole question.
Yeah.
How does she challenge you to be better? Because me, personally, I don't want to be around nobody who don't challenge me to grow, who don't challenge me to be better as a person, as a man, and who don't challenge me in business acumens, in my job, in my life. How has she challenged you to say, okay, this is a good friend, this is someone good I can have now, I need to improve in this, that? Question, get your stuff.
Nah, I'm just trying to see how to put it. So it's just like just doing certain stuff. So like I said, I was a high school coach, and like I've trained people that like play in the NBA. I've trained people that like play overseas. Like I train like good high school kids, and just like I said, I've been around her, and I said I've trained some kids who play there or like who's going to play for her. And I said I've done stuff like in front of her, and like we just kind of like talk, like she like helps me out. She'll like, so like if I'm doing something, like, instead of her like doing something wrong or doing that right, like you know how people like come in like try to tell you like no blah blah blah, like you're not doing this right, like but like, it's like how you come off, and like she's not like that. She'll like we'll talk, she'll pull me to the side, like we'll debate, like I give her ideas, she gives me ideas, so it's not just like her just like I already know what to do, you feel me? Like I've been here, so it's not like that. It's like me learning with everything. So like I said before, it's like a homeboy, like a family relationship. So like I can come to her and like ask her for advice, and like you feel me? I'm not gonna feel like stupid or like feel dumb or like feel like oh you feel me? I don't know what I'm doing. So that's why I said I just like her so much, just because it's just like real like I'm learning stuff, you feel me? Like every chance I get like to be around her and like doing stuff with her. So like I said, I'm just blessed for the opportunity.
Yeah, that experience with the Texas Legends, then there's a lot that went on in between there. But how was it just getting that call and seeing the pros up close? Because most people don't get a chance to, first of all, travel the world. You'd have been to China, you'd have been to Australia, you'd have been to Europe, playing in plenty various of training events. How was that experience first? Because again, this is a relationship, change the host question. So how was that experience? Because most people, I had Devin on last week on the podcast. He played for West Virginia, played for Bob Huggins, then he went pro. So, but he went overseas. Now, how was that experience? Because most people go to the NBA, but don't get the chance to travel overseas, travel the country, travel the world. How was that experience? Like just traveling the world and getting to see man's different cultures, different lives, how people live. How was that?
So, first off, I want to say something that he was talking about.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
When coaching, or I guess, being the head coach, right? I always tell like my guys and just people I'm around, I'm like, I'm a believer, like serve God, serve people, like everything else will fall into place. Like yes. I'm not an advocate of like rule with the iron fist. And I tell my players too, I'm like, there's more than one way to play basketball. Like if I'm sitting here telling you every shot you shoot should be a jump stop, no, like there's jump stops, there's the ones who like step into it, there's floaters, there's all sorts of different things. And so if someone tells you that there's one way to do something, there's really not. And so I don't believe in this is how it's going to be the end. Now, like on morals and different things, okay, yeah, like, but right. Again, if you just go to somebody and say, hit him over the head with a mallet, like, one, you're just probably gonna make them bitter. Like, okay, if they're doing something wrong, why don't I talk to them and teach them like why they did it wrong, and now maybe they'll respect you more, maybe they won't, but at least they'll know, or it'll be in the back of their head before they do it again, you know? So like with coaching with all my different coaches, like if I want to do something a certain way, I'll let them know, hey, let's do it this way. But I like to hear their point of view too. Like, hey, no, like I used to do it this way, or I've grown up this way, or this works. And I'm like, you know what? Hey, that's great. Maybe we should try that. Or hey, you know what? Maybe we won't do that this time, but we're gonna go do it this way. But maybe we can do it next time. Or that's not this team isn't the right team for that. So maybe we can do it next time. So just kind of like, instead of having that really strict, having people come up to you like being yes coach, I don't really like yes mans, you know what I mean? Like people can have the opportunity to have an opinion or to come and ask different things, because I can't see everything. I don't know everything. And so I'm learning just like everybody else. I mean, just because I've been to all these different places doesn't make me bigger or better than anybody. Yeah. So, but I'll say this, Quay is awesome. Like, he's a beast.
I like Quay, man. Quay good people. So I love Quay. Quay good people. Quay good people. I was going to ask, what gravitated you towards Quay?
Pugs.
Why do Pugs leave?
So, one of our players is Elijah Pugsley, and I guess he contacted Quay and told Quay that I was looking for players, and so one day Quay calls me up and says I have some players, and then Quay, like, he's in Georgia, Atlanta at this point, and he's like flooding my phone like every day for like, I swear it was months, and I'm like, man, this guy works hard.
He definitely does.
So we just, I mean, honestly, just built a relationship off the phone. Like, I mean, we were literally talking every day for like months. Yeah. So.
And I always tell y'all this, people that's listening, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. It's really, really about who you know. I always preach that to y'all, and that's a prime example of what she just said. Quay was living in Atlanta. She was nowhere near Atlanta, but and Elijah introduced her to Quay, then he just started flooding her stuff, and now we're here today. So it's really not about what you know, it's about who you know. So networking is super duper duper important.
Yeah. And then being ready for your opportunity as well.
Definitely.
If you get an opportunity presented and you've been like praying for this opportunity, you've been waiting for it, like, and then all of a sudden the opportunity presents itself and you're like, oh wait, no, I need a couple weeks to get in shape, or I need to get my mind right. No, because those opportunities don't come that often. So Quay was ready.
Yeah.
I know.
What's your outlook on the transfer portal? Like, how do you feel like the transfer portal is affecting high school seniors?
So the transfer portal is tough. Like, it's affecting high school seniors. It's affecting JUCO kids, and I don't know if I have an opinion on it yet. I kind of want to see how it's going to play out, because this is the first year, and see, I don't know, what it's going to bring next year, because it does help the kids who are in a really bad situation, like in the NCAA, whether it's D1, D2, D3, but it also on the back end hurts the kids trying to come in. And then as well as, not only is that hurting the kids that are trying to come in, it hurts a COVID hurt him as well, because now we have that fifth year senior on there. So not only is, it's a transfer portal, it's now the transfer portal and COVID. Yeah. So, because I have a freshman, or a kid who wants to come in and be a freshman, but I have a senior who's supposed to go out. They're like, no, I'm going to take advantage. And so now they're going to stay. And so now that freshman's like, kind of out there.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, life overseas.
Oh yeah, back to that question. I'm sorry. Wow. So, went to Hungary initially when I was young. Well, okay. So I didn't coach in Hungary. Oh. Remember when I told you I went over to the tour team? So I went over there initially, came back, and then I went.
Where's Hungary located? Sorry if I might ask. Never heard of it.
You would ask that question. Europe. We're gonna go with Europe.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I went there, came back, and then got the opportunity to go to where did I go? India and China. So the culture is, man, it's a culture shock if you don't really deal with different. If you can't adapt very well, we'll put it that way. But it was really, really cool though, because like they are so different in how they just do things. And I was talking to somebody, it was yesterday, and about their traffic. Like, you literally, these cars, and there's things called rickshaws, which is like a scooter with a top on it, like basically. It's like 3 wheels and anyways, so it's like a mob mentality of like when you're driving and everyone's trying to go through this maze. And then a couple times I was on a rickshaw and this guy was like, screw it, and he just went up on the sidewalk and went around everybody. Like, so it's really traffic laws. Like, I would say are suggestions, but I don't even know if they're that. But just things like that. Like, there's just different cultures and people do different things. And I loved it because I was able to come back and tell people about it. And especially like the younger athletes and people who've never been overseas, because not everybody's like America. Not everybody has McDonald's around the corner. Not everybody has clean water. Not everybody has, I don't know, traffic laws, right? So I mean, their belief is like your animals when they're outside, they're free. You know, like there could be monkeys on the right hand side and a cow on the left hand side, and what else is there? What are those things called? Like an ox or something, just in the middle.
Just walking down the street.
I mean, they're everywhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool, and it's cool because like they know, like they grew up with that, and so
it's normal.
People were like, "Oh, be careful with the monkeys." I'm like, "Trust me, I will. Like, I won't even go." Like, But they were like, "Do this and don't do that when you're around them," because again, like they know, and I have no clue. So again, I don't know. It was really really cool, and just teaching basketball. India, their basketball level is not as high, and so there was a lot of teaching going on with like the coaches and the players. Now, when I went to China, they're leaps and bounds above, just because like they've been working with the NBA for a really long time with their junior NBAs and like Basketball Without Borders and all that. So coaching from India to China was literally a complete like 180. But I mean, their culture is really different too. They're very strict in what they do, and like it's kind of actually the complete opposite, because India was just kind of like everybody, they're free for all, and then China's like, you know, let's march in a line. You know, I would go and watch their basketball teams, and when they would warm up like it was military lines. Dang, and so they would literally chant like left, or I don't think it's the same that we did, but whatever it was in their language. Right. But very, very, very organized. A lot of the schools, everybody had to dress the same, had to have the same haircuts, had to have the same like everything. So nobody can stick out.
That's crazy.
So
that's why they all look alike. Okay. Makes sense. So I always ask people this.
Check the camera.
I know it went off.
Oh.
Most likely, but that's why I'm using this one.
Okay.
Yep. I always ask people this. So I'm gonna just tell you some of the stories I heard. Okay. So I interviewed a lot of people that played overseas, and I say, "What's the craziest thing over there that made you say I want to go home?" People done told me they tried giving them laugh like squid or something on the plate. I done heard people say smoking in the gym. I done heard people say the traffic is nonstop and crazy. I done heard people say it get dark at like 4 o'clock. So now my question to you is, what is one thing you seen on the camera that made you say it's time to go back home? Like,
I don't know. You know, after a while, like it's really cool because like in India I was there 6 months. So I was pretty much living there. Yeah. And it was really cool doing what I was doing because like I was with the junior NBA, and literally every couple days I'm flying to a new like place, like they actually have states. Right. And so that was really cool. Not being able to drink the water, the only time you can drink is obviously like through water bottles. Pretty much that's it.
What you mean? Like
you can't take you'll get sick like
if
that.
You drink the tap water?
Oh yeah, no, you don't do that.
Dang.
Yeah. And then yeah, sometimes. So I'm like a fat kid at heart. Like I'll literally eat anything. I love to eat, but I don't eat fish, or if it swims, I don't know. I can't stand it. If it's in the water, I can't eat it. But like sometimes I don't know exactly what I'm eating, and so I don't know if I just stay there. So yeah, sometimes the food can be. Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you a story. When I was in China, there was so it was after I went to a school and I met with the principal and like the mayor, like everybody was there, and so they took us out to this big fancy dinner, and we're sitting there, and I'm trying to be prim and proper and, you know, eat, and So they do, I think it's called a Lazy Susan, where they spin the little thing in the middle and it has like all the food and you can just pick and choose and grab and put it on your plate. So they had this big old chicken and I'm like, oh man, this looks great, smells good. And so I'm like picking off the pieces that I want and I put it on my plate and I have my fork and I go down to like pick it up. On the back side of that piece of chicken was the head with the beak.
Oh my god! I would have been grossed out.
I literally screamed and threw it across the team. And like I had all like the mayor, like I had all these really like dignitary people there. I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know the face was on the other end of that chicken. Oh my gosh, it was the funniest thing.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's some things that are a little different than here. So anyway, so from the restaurants I would go to from there, like so I would still order chicken, but I made them cut the head off before, because they bring it out to you with the head on, and it's cooked. It's, I don't know.
Fried and everything, just with the head on.
I'm like, so one time they brought it out, I said, and I had a translator, and I was like, can you tell them to like take it back and just cut the head off for me, please? I was traumatized. It was awful.
Hilarious. Another great story. That's hilarious. So you had a chance to be around one of my actual favorite players in the league.
Uh-huh.
How did you get to Milwaukee?
How did I get to Milwaukee? Whenever like you're trying to go somewhere, so my aspirations of coaching, again, I want to be the best. So like I want to be in the NBA. I actually top aspiration be a head NBA coach, right? Mm-hmm. Do I know on the back end that might not happen? I do, but you know what? I'm gonna strive for it. Why not, right? So at that point, I hadn't actually been like on the NBA team, right? Mm-hmm. I'd been in like the G League, the Summer League, the Junior NBA, like everything else.
Right.
So I was constantly in contact. So anytime, whoever's watching, anytime that you want to do something, you have to stay in contact with whoever can help get you there, or whoever has the knowledge. Like they don't even have to have the ability. Whoever like, you know, has the knowledge of the sport or knows some people or anybody that can like give a lending hand. So pretty much, I don't know how often, like every couple months, I would always send out emails personalized to everybody in the G League, everybody in the NBA. Do I actually know if they read them? No. But like I was gonna do my best to try to see if they could get it, right? Yeah. So, and I also would try and put myself in those places as well to where they could see you, because eventually if you show up enough, they're gonna be like, you look familiar, like you know, you're working really hard. So, anyway, so I was sending out these emails and one of them stuck, and I'm trying to think of who it was. Oh, it was Milt. Okay, so Milt is the assistant GM. Mm-hmm. I would also go down and help him run. He's from the Virgin Islands, so every year I would go down and I would, or I guess for the last 4 years, help him with his camps, and I would do it free of charge. I just wanted be in the Virgin Islands, too, but like help run a basketball camp and learn from him, because he would have staff there who were like in the NBA, and so learning from them. But obviously he's with Milwaukee, and so I sent an email to the G League of the Milwaukee Bucks, which is the Wisconsin Herd, and was like, hey guys, I'll be back from China at this time. If you guys have anything coming up, just let me know. So when I did that, somehow it got to Milt, actually. And then when Milt saw it, he actually told him like, hey, give her a call. And so he called me. His name was, oh gosh, I'm terrible with names, by the way. Dan? No, it's not Dan.
We just call him Dan.
We're going to call him Dan. We're going to call him Dan. Anyways, so Dan, he gave me a call, and we just like shot the breeze and just talked. And I talked basketball about what they're doing this upcoming season, and he told me when their G League tryouts were, and it was just good conversation. I hung the phone up. Well, when that happened, I was like, they have G League tryouts. I'm going to go there and I'm going to meet them. So literally, like a month before their tryouts, I call him, I say, hey, I'm coming up to your tryouts. Do you need any help? Because I'll be there anyways. And he was like, oh, yeah, sure, you can come help. You can help coach one of the teams. So I'm like, okay. So I go up there, I go to the tryouts, I help coach one of the teams, and Nothing comes from it, which is perfectly fine. I come back, I end up, I think I ended up staying with my mom. My mom actually got sick at that point in time, so I ended up staying with her and helping her. And then that next year, as I was staying with my mom, that's when China and India popped up, and I was like, oh, this is great. So I go to those, and then whenever I'm in China, I end up getting an email, and they're saying, hey, we have this position available. Do you want it? And I was like, what in the world? So it was kind of, I didn't get to the Bucks in like one sweep. It was emails, it was just showing up, it was asking to go to tryouts, it was seeing Mills, a phone call, and then all of a sudden a position kind of popped open. So
that's cool. So it's something I like. That's what just reading about. I read so much about you, but just reading about you. That's what inspired me, because I'm like, she's so determined to achieve her goal, and I feel like I got the same stuff because people say legally blind. I don't like that. Visually impaired. I'm visually impaired, so I could have been just folded up and just went into my cocoon and just never came back out. But I'm like, no. So I want to grind. I want to work. I'm not gonna let nobody tell me no. If you do tell me no, I'm gonna still do it and let you know that I can do it and be good at it.
That's awesome.
So, like for example, we had a big Ohio playoffs this weekend. Yes, I've been building my page, building my brand for a while, but this is only my 3rd year running, so I couldn't get the access that a lot of people got, but I did. Snuck into Dayton, snuck into UC, snuck into Xavier. Different type of way. Sorry if I hear this, whoever listens. But I needed this.
Security.
I needed this for my content, to let you know that I'm just not no little media blog. I want to take this somewhere. I really want to, it's more than just a podcast. I really want to let y'all know that I'm here. And it's crazy that you said that, because I've been in so many gyms, now people start saying, who are you? What are you doing? Who you with? You look familiar.
Right.
I'm with myself. Like, it's nothing. So that's crazy. And I see that we got to know. I'm like, she's very determined. I'm very determined. Like, we got a lot in common.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. Just because, I mean, it's not that someone gave you away. It's like, they closed the door, so I'm like, I'm going to just go through the window. Like,
exactly. All right, that door closed. I bet there's 10 more to open. So you'll see me one day eventually.
Exactly.
Coaching, did you go to the bubble?
So I didn't know.
How was the experience just being around? Because I love Giannis. I love Giannis.
Yeah.
How was the experience just being around, just in and out every day of just an NBA facility? Just that whole just experience, knowing. Because at the time, when the Bucks probably gave you the opportunity, you probably felt like you was a little closer to your goals.
Yeah.
How was that experience, just feeling like, ooh, I'm here now? Because you're just talking to you, seem like a super humble person. Seem like you don't never get too high, get too low. So how was that experience saying, I'm here now, but I'm still working? And just being around all the guys. So,
first off, Giannis is amazing.
Yes.
Actually, like, not just Giannis, yes. Not just Giannis, like, one thing that the Bucks do whenever so I was part of the basketball ops and scouting as well, so the scouts look for is, they call it Bucks DNA. And so it's like having good care, like they're looking for good people. Like they don't want to bring in somebody that's arrogant or just cocky or has bad attitudes or anything like that. And so a lot of people say, well, you're superstars, they can do whatever they want, they can have this type of attitude. No, I mean, there might be some organizations that are willing to deal with, someone that's, needs a little more management, we'll go with. But for the most part, like, that stuff really matters. As a scout, like, they'll even look for, after a game, are you helping clean the bench up afterwards? Like, are you, when your teammate's right there and they did something good, did you go give them a high five? Or when your coach is talking to you, are you, like, making eye contact? Or are you just kind of, like, in your own little world, like, okay, fine. So all that stuff matters. And so with the Bucks, like, every single athlete that was there, like, I literally could not say one bad thing about any of them because they're all humble, they're all down to earth, they're all essentially really good people. Giannis, like, he's hilarious. Like, he's a great guy. I don't even think he has, like, a mean bone in his body. Now, like, pause, on the court, he's a beast. Like, he's gonna go through you, like, or step around you. So
yes, that's very
So, like, really, really, really good person.
Do you have any good stories from that time?
People ask me that. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I probably do. I need to, like, go back in my bag and think about that. But I mean, yeah, I don't know any specific stories. So we used to, huh? Oh yeah.
That was coming. Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying the wrong part's nice.
Yeah. How was that? Finally capturing that championship. Like a lot of people counted Giannis out. A lot of people said he couldn't do it.
Man.
They was down 2-0. Everybody was just giving Chris Paul the ring. No, because Giannis gonna be Giannis. How was that? Just finally capturing that championship, being up close and personal, and seeing him celebrate. Like just.
I don't even know where to start with that, honestly. Maybe I should start with Chick-fil-A and ordering all those nuggets after the day after he won.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
No, oh my gosh. I think one of the biggest things for me when they won was like, cause all the hard work going into it, because like, man, we worked hard. We worked really hard, because being basketball ops and scouting, like, you're doing like analytics, you're doing like I was sending the referee stuff, I was cutting up film, I was then on the back end I'm like evaluating players, and just I can't even let you know how much stuff there was being done. And so just getting to that point, you're like, man, it's like it's about to pay off, you know. And then Giannis was hurt, like. Shout out to the strength and conditioning crew and the medical staff, because I don't know how he hyperextended his knee that bad and it didn't just go because it was so bad. But he came back, and just his hard work and drive for the game. And I remember one game against the 76ers. Oh, 76ers, right? So he was hustling back after Embiid to go block the shot, and before that actually happened, like during the game, probably I don't know however many minutes it was, I was just watching him and our team. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they are dead tired. But it's because that season, that was when they crammed all those games in that short amount of time, and so they played through July. But again,
they had all them crazy back-to-backs and triple hitters and stuff like that.
Yeah, like they put all the regular amount of games from December to July, when it would have been spread out before anyway. So they were exhausted, and I was like, man, they gotta be able to pull through. I literally saw Giannis go from dragging the ground to, like, you could literally see in his face, like, because if Embiid would have made that shot, they would have lost, right? And he knew they couldn't lose. Like, in order to get to where he wanted, he had to push the ball. He had to get to the next gear. Even though there was no more gears, like, he had to break through. And how he went down there and blocked that shot, like, inspired me. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, if Giannis can do it, I can do it. So just seeing things like that and the comebacks and proving, like, you know, the haters wrong and everything. Right. It is a small market team, you know? Definitely. So when they won it, I was like shaky. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and to see the celebrations on the floor. And the best part was the parade. Like,
the parade.
Oh my gosh.
Especially in Milwaukee.
So cool. That was so cool. Yeah.
Especially in Milwaukee. Now that experience, like just the whole experience you had was a super duper great experience. Now, most people in that position would not go to a college job. You thinking, I'm here now. What am I doing? Next is the next NBA team. Now, that tells me a lot about you. That tells me that you have a lot of self-confidence in yourself. That tells me that you don't care what people think. That tells me that you're willing to bet on yourself. Now, what was your whole thought process of, I'm with an NBA team, now I'm about to go coach BRESCIA. What was that whole
So, I've had that question asked a lot. So, I wasn't planning on leaving the Bucks, actually. So let's do a little rewind. Okay, so sounded just like it, by the way. So back in, like, I don't even remember the year. It was like 2015 or somewhere in there. I actually was coaching a team in Owensboro, which is actually where Brescia is located, for 2 seasons, and Brescia was getting their gym remodeled. And they would rent out our practice facility and use it as, like, their home game facility, and their practices as well. And so I just built a relationship with the women's coach and the men's coach, and Just knew him. So anyways, I come back around, I'm with the Bucks, and I'm just like online, and all of a sudden I see that the men's coach is gone. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened, you know? And so I call the women's coach, and I'm like, hey, what's the scoop, man? Like, what's going on? And he kind of like, you know, told me, and then was like, oh, do you want it? And I was like, I like literally like pumped the brakes. I was like, it's coaching. Do I want it? I think so. I don't know. I literally did not know. I was like, And so basically it just developed from that. Like, I mean, I prayed about it a lot. I mean, thought about it and researched it a lot. And I was like, you know what? My passion is coaching. Like, as much as I really like enjoyed the front office and the scouting, especially the scouting was really cool. I wanted to be on the floor. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it, and I did. And ta-da!
You got it. Made history. So
I didn't even know it at the time.
That's good. That's the craziest part. That's the craziest part. And now it's time for my takeover segment of the day. So this is the little fun part. We're gonna answer little questions, let the people get to know you and what you like to do. So, what is on Coach Gayler's playlist? What do you like to listen to?
Oh my gosh. I listen to a lot of Christian music, but like the genre of it's like across the board, like from contemporary to rap to R&B to country, and even like just regular country, because remember the whole rodeo thing?
Yes.
Okay. So just all of that, really.
Chris, I like Jonathan McReynolds. You should check him out. He's really good. Jonathan McReynolds. He's a gospel singer. He's really, really good. Another question. What is the best basketball shoe to play in your opinion?
Okay. Back when I was a sophomore in high school, my favorite shoes were the Cheryl Swoops.
Cheryl Swoops. That's a long time.
I know, that's not even a thing anymore. But I just recently got a pair, and they were the Hardens, and they're like literally the softest, most comfortable shoe I've ever had in my life.
He with Adidas, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. Wow. Quay, same thing for you. What's the best basketball shoe to play in your opinion?
Best basketball shoe. I don't know. I don't really have no favorite one.
Free ones?
You just like, oh,
I said I'm more like a Nike guy. Usually, I wear I wear Kobe's, I wear LeBron's, like I wear.
Wait, I take my back. The Giannis's.
Giannis's. I actually like Giannis' shoe.
I do too.
I think a lot of people that I was curious because I think a lot of people that come out with shoes be like terrible. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
But I think they gave Giannis a good shoe. Like, they really gave Giannis a good shoe. Especially Nike, because Nike be stingy. They don't get a good shoe to a lot of people. Nike be stingy. So they say something. I can tell a lot about how they think about a player by the shoe.
Oh, that's funny.
So they gave Giannis a good shoe. Okay. Now, if you take it, I can ask both of y'all this question. If you taking 5 people to the blacktop, including yourself, who you taking?
Wait, taking them where?
To the blacktop. So we about to go play basketball. So
I a black tie.
Like Rutgers Park. So if we go to Rutgers Park, I need 5 people to come play with me. Who you taking?
Who am I taking? Giannis. Drew Holiday. I love Drew Holiday because he is like both sides of the ball. Like,
yes.
Man, he's the reason that they got that steal for the game winner. I see I'm going back. These are all flashbacks. Right? Man, funny story. I am a CP3 fan though.
Yeah.
Because wherever he goes, he wins.
He wins.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't care how good or bad they were, whatever. Like, those two, I don't know. Can I just say the whole Bucks?
Yeah, whole Bucks started.
I think Kevin Durant, like, he's the best offensive player. Like, yes. I really like KD. Where am I at? I don't even know.
You had 3. Drew, Giannis, KD. You all CP? Yep, you said CP. One more.
Well, yeah, I guess we're kind of the same position. Whatever. Who is my? You can go ahead. I'm thinking about my 5th one.
Go ahead, Quay.
5
of them. Yeah, 5 people to the blacktop.
I take Kobe.
Jokic. Sorry.
Jokic. Good one, Jokic. I like Jokic.
I take Kobe. I take like if we can go back anytime, I take Rose, but like prime Rose.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's sick. Okay.
He was nice.
You feel me? Derrick Rose. I take Kobe, Derrick Rose.
With the 3.
Kevin Durant.
Okay.
That's hard. Kevin Durant. Oh yeah, I forgot about Jamal.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably take Jamal Crawford. He's a dog. And then at my 5, I'll probably take dang, who am I gonna take my 5? 5, I take. I don't know. I need a mobile 5. Probably like a
Bam.
Bam or
I'm gonna need the players now.
what's the dude that played for the Cavs?
Evan Mobley.
Mobley.
Yeah, I love him.
I'm not take Mobley out there. I mean Mobley, mobile, decent, block shots, good shots.
Narrow your principles down into 3 words.
My team gonna beat his team, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait, say it again. I'm
Narrow
sorry.
your principles down into 3 words.
Can I do 4?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Serve God, serve people.
I love that. Okay, serve God, serve people. If you could do it all over again, what would you do differently?
As much as I would go back and change lots of different things, nothing, because it makes you who you are.
That's my answer every time. Quay, what's yours? If you could do it all over again, what would you do differently?
Probably the same. I said I wouldn't be in the spot I am today if all that stuff didn't happen. So
If a famous basketball player could play you in a movie, who would it be?
Diana Taurasi.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Diana Taurasi. Same thing for you, Quay? If a basketball player could play you in a movie, who would it be?
Rose, knees.
He's done. He's done. That is hilarious. Okay. Now, this is over. TakeOver segment is over. Now let's get into some current stuff. NBA playoffs. You been watching?
Okay, not as much as I would like to, but you kind of.
Who's your who's your team right now? Boston, Miami actually played tonight. Then you also got the Warriors and Dallas. I love Luka, by the way. I'm sorry.
So yeah, see, I'm like torn over 3 of them. So one of my friends is a huge Dallas fan, so I've been watching them a lot.
Yes.
Man, Luka is a beast.
Luka is oh my god.
Man, he's
serious.
He's just put everybody on his back and said, "Let's go."
Yeah, Luka is serious. He's so serious. Then I think something else too. A lot of people always talk about people missing. Luka is missing Tim Hardaway Jr. And Luka's also missing another big. So a lot of people talk about teams hurt team. Nobody talk about Luka missing his third leading scorer and still making it happen.
Right.
I love Luka. Someone else, I love Boston too. Boston is like Boston. I got Boston winning this Miami series. I think they gonna lose the game tonight. What is you talking about, lady? I got Boston. I'm sorry.
They got new coaches too.
Who?
Both teams.
Both teams. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I like Boston. Jason Kidd underrated too.
Yeah.
I think Jason Kidd his in-game adjustments are really, really good.
Yeah.
The way he haunted Chris Paul, I think he gonna haunt Steph Curry in this series.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think Draymond could guard Luka, but not every possession. So it's gonna be 2 good Eastern Conference finals.
Let's do this right here.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2. Yeah, you just juggle it up. So.
Wait, pause. I want to say, I actually have been watching Miami a lot this year, but Miami always gives people problems.
Yes.
Like Jimmy Butler, oh my gosh, I love Jimmy. He's a dog.
He
like,
really is.
I love it.
He's what you like. You say you like dogs.
Man,
and Jimmy
yeah.
Butler is that dog. Like,
Yep.
yeah, he don't care. He don't care what you talking about. He don't care what you got going. I'm coming here to get buckets. So, last segment. Why not AD? Why not ask this? So, if anything you all want to ask me, you can feel free. Now that I interview you all for about an hour now. Now's the floor open.
Oh man. So a question for you. What's your favorite color?
Favorite color, black. People don't say it's a color. People say it's a shade, but I like black.
Okay. What was your favorite sport?
Favorite sport is basketball. Actually, I don't know. I'll be telling my girl this. I like to tell people I don't know how to run, jump, dance, nothing. The only thing I know how to do is shoot a ball. So yeah, and talk about basketball. I love talking about basketball.
How long did you play?
My career was short, being the fact that I'm visually impaired. So I used to be really, really good. Cool story. I got invited to play in the Junior Olympics, and it was crazy. It was the year I lost my sight. So I lost my sight at the age of 14, but that same year they invited me to play in the Junior Olympics. So I had a good 2-year run when I was probably one of the best players in the state.
Yeah.
Then after that, went downhill. But that's why I said I coached for 8 years after I graduated. But I'm thinking, I really love basketball. I really love coaching. But I will never be a head coach one day. Be realistic. You really visually impaired. So what can I do to stay around the game, be around the game, and still be effective? So I'm like, podcast. So I could talk to coaches about basketball. I could be around coaches about basketball. And I could also pull up to different games. Like, that's kind of like an ESPN feel. Like, I like interviewing people after games, interviewing people during at halftime, just to see how they doing, just to see how it's going. I do post-game interviews, so it's just something different because we don't have nothing like that here. So I just wanted to do something different to stay around the game and still affect the game.
Is that one of like your long-term aspirations?
That's my goal. Yes, I really want to do this, but like I got like you see, I got to do the groundwork first. Stay determined, stay dedicated, and hopefully ESPN, Fox Sports, the Bleacher Room, somebody gonna notice me.
That's cool.
Somebody gonna notice me.
I always say, and it's like crazy cliche, and it's like, oh, it's so cute. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about cute, but like I say, shoot for the moon because if you miss, you land among the stars. So it's like,
I love that.
Like,
I like
go for
that.
the highest. Because I was like, I want to be an NBA head coach. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. Like, but
Right.
I'm gonna land among the stars. Like,
Exactly.
shoot for as high you can go.
That's
You'll
the
land among
goal.
the stars.
Yes.
Really cool.
Same thing. You got anything for me, Quay?
Nah, not for real.
Cool. Appreciate you all for joining me. It's been really, really good. I learned a lot. I hope people who ever watched this learned a lot about you all, but it was a really, really good story. So that is another episode of the CourtSide TakeOver podcast. I'm your gracious and grateful host, Des Scruggs, and we out.
Real big, real big. I know one day I would do it real big, real big, real big. I know what my real is feel is. Night